This room, which we feel is the centerpiece of the library project, was constructed of 3 or 4 or 5 smaller rooms. It is going to be a combination archival processing lab and digital scholarship lab. Well, over here we'll have a long counter space with locking cupboards underneath, and these cupboards will house the Poolaw photograph collection, which is getting a lot of use lately. It just recently returned from the University of South Dakota for an exhibit there, and it's on its way to the Smithsonian in New York City, the National Museum of the American Indian, in 2014. One of the really exciting features that we think is going to captivate our students is that we're going to have a small 3D printer in here. So with this printer, this 3D printer, for example, let's say a student wants to see in their hand even a small scale model of Michelangelo's David. They can go online to see a flat image of it, or we can have them print out, using this 3D printer, a small version of David. We're excited about this room because it blends scholarship with real life. It blends theory and practice. We have long wanted a 24/7 computer space, and we're going to combine it with a library instruction classroom. We don't have a dedicated space in the library for instruction about our resources and how to use them. So that's what we're turning this room into. It will be secured 24/7 access. Students will have to use their ID card to access the room for their security. This room, which has long been a storage room, is going to become a commuter lounge. One of the things that we found out from our focus group about 18 months ago was that commuting students didn't have a place to go between classes. Sometimes they have an hour between class, 2 hours, whatever, and they just didn't have a really good spot to go. They can come to the library, obviously, and study, but sometimes they just want to rest. Sometimes they have to go off campus to eat, when it might be cheaper to bring their own food on campus and keep it here. So what we're going to do with this room is we're going to add some recliners. We're going to add a sink, a food prep counter. We're going to add a refrigerator that has locking compartments so that they can buy their own food and keep it here on campus. And then we're going to have a microwave that they can use and some other things like that. It's not a large room. It will have a table, just a place for them to call home. So this room, which is going to be the centerpiece of the ground floor renovation, is presents an opportunity for us to finally have on one floor our processing area and our archival storage area. So this is a rare opportunity for undergraduates to work with original manuscripts.
Now's an exciting time for science at USAO. With the addition of our new plant growth carts, we can grow plants not only for our botany class, but for genetics and principles of ecology as well. And so students now have the ability to work on experiments and research activities here in the laboratories, at our new habitat area, and as well as in their own research. And so with the addition of equipment like the plant presses, plant biology has never been so mobile. Also, we have new microscopes, which are truly interdisciplinary because they'll be used in almost all of our science classes, ranging from the molecular all the way to field biology. With the additions of these scopes, students will be working with advanced technologies that will rival those that they will be using at the graduate school level as well as in industry.
We really want to thank the donors who have given us money to be able to do things with students that we've not been able to. We have these fancy grow carts where we can grow grow plants day and night and have them exposed in a small volume of space. We have new incubators that will allow for us to be able to do experiments in a much more controlled temperature in a bigger range. We have equipment that students can actually use individually as opposed to sharing collectively amongst the whole entire class. We've got new microscopes, new centrifuges, new shaking water baths or shaking bacteria culture baths that will help to grow those bacteria that don't really want to play with us very much.
One of the major things we talk about is the nervous system. So we're able to get in some models of brains where they're able to learn the actual parts of the brains, what they do, and see what a life-size human brain looks like. One of the major aspects that we got was an actual torso of a human that they're able to pull apart, they're able to see all the organs within that, and how they actually are located within us. Okay, so one of the things that we have purchased for the habitat area are things like fish traps that Hillary has set here in the pond. We can use those for classrooms and bring them out here. We can catch fish. We can do lots of things of morphological studies, tag them to see if we're recapturing our fish, and so forth. We have purchased binoculars, spotting scopes, tripods. We have our outdoor classroom that we can teach them how to use this equipment and then bring them out here, for example, to the pond and let them apply that equipment and see what they can see. We have lots of animals out here. You can hear the birds singing. So that's a great egret. We have anywhere from 1 to 6 or 7 of them out here. They like to roost in the big cottonwood trees there where he's flying to. And lots of animals in the pond where they can also catch those and apply their knowledge to collecting data for that.
As part of the capital improvement plan for Austin Hall, we're constructing a mini observatory at the USAO habitat area. And it doesn't look terribly impressive, but what we want to do is build things on a scale that the dedicated amateur could do. And so when our students actually use this, they can get an experience that they could create themselves if they wish to. So computerized telescopes are fairly inexpensive, and so we're going to have a little classroom complex and some restrooms and the observatory here, and so we expect to make this an active part of our outdoor classroom activities.